Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on this Friday, February 25th. Live from the Beasley Media Complex in Boone, this is the Appalachian Weekly News. I'm Stephen Biddix.
And I'm Sydney Gladwell.
We start off with a COVID-19 update here in the High Country. Watauga County is currently sitting at 236 cases, a 9% positivity rate. However, this is a vast improvement from earlier in the year. Watauga cases are down 45% from February 1st, and hospitalizations are down 57%. Over half of Watauga County is also now fully vaccinated, and just over 30% vaccinated and boosted. With numbers dropping across the state, lawmakers have started proposing changes to mask policies. Sydney, I saw a press conference was held just a few days ago about this. What does the future of mask mandates look like for North Carolina?
Well, Stephen, Governor Roy Cooper did hold a press conference last Thursday in which he strongly encouraged local governments, businesses, and schools to end mask requirements.
We've relied on local school boards, local governments, and local public health officials to make good decisions. And for the most part, they have. I'm grateful for local officials who've done amazing work to protect children and save lives under difficult circumstances. We've learned how to protect ourselves and each other from serious illness due to COVID. Now we take a positive step on mask requirements to help us move safely toward a more normal day-to-day life. And I know we all want that.
The press conference was in response to new legislation that allows parents and their K-12 students to opt out of indoor mask mandates set by local education boards. Governor Cooper cited a fall in COVID-19 transmission and hospitalization rates and an increase in vaccination numbers as the foundation for his encouragement. Just last night, however, Governor Roy Cooper vetoed this new legislation, stating that leaving the decision of masking in schools should remain in the hands of local school boards. According to North Carolina School Boards Association, 95 out of the 115 school districts have already approved mask optional policies. Stephen, I know our local district took a vote recently on this very issue. Where do we stand?
Well, on Tuesday, the Watauga County Board of Education came to a unanimous 5-0 decision that masks are now optional in public schools beginning February 28th. After the vote, Superintendent Scott Elliott said, quote, "The board believes that parents, students, and staff members have the information that they need to make a decision on whether wearing a mask is right for them," end quote. Elliott also clarified in an email sent to parents that masks are optional for everybody: students, teachers, faculty, and visitors. This vote led to an emergency town council meeting on Wednesday night to discuss whether to drop the town of Boone mask mandate. Town council voted 3-2 to remove the mask mandate on March 7th, but also has the power to re-implement it on March 9th, the date of their next meeting. Business owners can still require masks for their stores and their employees, and there is no word yet from App State on any possible changes. Well, this past week, there is a very important App State Town Hall meeting hosted here on campus.
Grace Powers is live outside of the Belk Library. Grace, what can you tell us?
Well, this past Sunday, the Student Government Association, Staff Senate, and Faculty Senate met here at Belk Library for a University Town Hall meeting to tackle one important question: where is App State headed?
Panelists from the three organizations tackled 5 important topics: App State's mission, diversity and inclusion, financial resources, sustainability and climate, and the university's relationship with the town. Naturally, many of these conversation topics quickly turned to critique the administration. Nobody from the administration seemed to be in attendance, and in fact, they reached out to the SGA, staff, and faculty senate to point out that they were wrongfully quoted as governing bodies of the university in the Watauga Democrat, saying they're sure it wasn't their intention to mislead the media that they, quote, represent the university in any official capacity, end quote. This was just one of the instances student body president Bailey Garden spoke about being undermined in his initiatives in both SGA and Black at App State. However, one of the common themes of the night was a motivation for App State to reach its full potential. Dr. Richard Ryan-Gans, the chair of the Department of Sustainable Development, spoke about the university's mission. I sat down with him to hear more of his thoughts.
If we are who we say in that mission, value the relationship between students, faculty, and teachers, student staff and faculty. if we value thinking critically, making a difference for the communities of North Carolina, not just the companies in North Carolina, but the communities in North Carolina, that's compelling. That makes us unique. That's what would make us the best progressive, comprehensive undergraduate institution in the Southeast.
After the panelists spoke, students, staff, and community members had the chance to ask questions and share their experiences. Many shared stories of being negatively impacted by the administration and advocated for more comprehensive relationships between students and staff and the university.
You can find the full town hall meeting on the Student Government Association website at sga.appstate.edu. Now, these town halls don't happen often, so if you have an issue, it's best to bring it up with the chair of your department, housing authorities, or the dean of students. Now, back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you so much, Grace. As Russian troops continue to try and take control of Ukraine, a family here in our area is grappling with their close ties to the unfolding crisis. Andrew Polonsky, an App State computer science professor, and his wife, Victoria Kovtun, are originally from eastern Ukraine. Although they and their son Ronnie are settled in Boone, they still have many relatives living in Ukraine, some just miles away from the Russian border. According to an interview Polonsky did earlier this week with the Watauga Democrat, Polonsky thought the American response to the tensions so far were fairly adequate. The U.S. continued to bring Putin's plans into a worldwide spotlight, and Polonsky thought that would make it more difficult for Russia to invade. Despite the spotlight and the U.S. enacting heavy warning sanctions earlier this week, Russian troops invaded Ukraine last night. According to ABC News, over 160 Russian missiles have been fired at Ukraine cities, resulting in the death of 57 people. President Joe Biden responded to the invasion with a new set of sanctions and limitations on exports, and a NATO virtual summit is being held today to decide further action.
Boone PD and High Country Crime Stoppers are looking for your help. On January 17th, 2 catalytic converters were stolen from Freedom Electech work vans located on Highway 105. The suspects escaped in a white 4-door pickup truck with black stripes on the hood and tailgate. If you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers at 828-268-6959 or Boone PD at 828-268-6900.
In the early hours of February 17th, a 2-story structure fire resulted in the death of a Zionville woman. According to police, 50-year-old Sabrina Maines and her 2 pets were discovered in the upstairs section of the residence after fire crews managed to get the fire out. In a press release, Zionville Fire Department Chief Don Miller said, quote, "Even through our efforts, we lost a valuable member of the community," end quote. The cause of the fire has been determined to be accidental. Both the Watauga County Sheriff's Office and the Watauga County Fire Marshal state they do not have any evidence that would suggest foul play.
An accident involving an ambulance left 5 people hurt, including 1 with life-threatening injuries. The ambulance was traveling south on Highway 321 with lights and sirens on when a car went through the intersection and struck the ambulance. The 4 inside the ambulance all went to a local hospital and are expected to be okay. The man in the car had to be airlifted to Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center. No charges have been filed as of now, and we do not have any updates on the condition of the driver. Well, we are now on day 9 here of a murder trial in Boone.
Zenaira Marin Lopez is live outside the Watauga County Courthouse with more.
Stephen and Sydney, I'm outside the courthouse where a Watauga high school student is on trial for 2 counts of first-degree murder in the killing of both of his parents. Tristan Borlas, who was 17 at the time in 2019, was falling behind in school, and when his grades slipped, his parents took his car keys and his cell phone. The night of this punishment, both parents were found dead outside of their home in Deep Gap with puncture wounds. Now, this trial is still ongoing, and as the days come, there is more to uncover. But what's notable about this case is that Borlas will be tried as an adult because he committed a violent felony in the state of North Carolina. As the days have gone, we found through some of the trials some incidents where the mother has been reported choking Tristan, and some, things are going on within the family that are being uncovered as the trial goes on. But back to you, Stephen and Sydney.
Thank you so much, Zenaira. Last week, App State nominated a new president and vice president to serve the student body. These elects bring new and exciting ideas for our university. Our correspondent Dylan Henson has the story.
Last week, the Appalachian student body picked their new president and vice president of the Student Government Association. Cuson Brown and Alejandro Barreto was elected to serve as president and vice president. This week, I caught up with them and what they're looking forward to as they start their new candidacy in April.
I've met a lot of great people here on campus, and I really want to make sure that they get the help they need, that they are able to go to their clubs, their organizations, their classes, and enjoy themselves as best they can, because I feel like the university should not hinder that atmosphere whatsoever. I really want to make sure that the club specifically and every single student has the resources available to them to succeed here at App.
Cuson Brown, president-elect of the Student Government Association, introduces himself and his vision for the next school year.
I am currently a sophomore here at Appalachian State studying public administration with a concentration in town and county planning with a concentration in town and city county management. I have had the pleasure of getting to know a majority of you who have worked with the campaign, who have supported us, and genuinely, I'm looking forward for us to get to work for you, bridging the gaps that exist here on this university, on campus, and in our community. Day one started a long time ago when it came to supporting you, the students. That's exactly what I truly believe, and how we're going to be successful is making sure that we're treating every day like it's day one and just building off of what we did yesterday.
As the spring semester comes to a close, comes a new presidency with new ideas and plans to enact them. Reporting for the Appalachian Weekly News, I'm Dylan Henson.
You may have heard rumors on campus this week that the McAllisters and the Plemmons Student Union would be replaced with a Chick-fil-A. According to App State's media relations specialist, Anna Oakes, there are no plans for renovation to campus food retail locations in 2023, but there are no specific plans for a Chick-fil-A in the Student Union at this time. So as always, if you find yourself craving Chick-fil-A on campus, head on over to Roas Dining Hall between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m.
U.S. Representative Virginia Foxx is running for re-election in the newly drawn 5th Congressional District. Foxx said she is thrilled to be running in the new district because it is made up of most of the counties she is already representing. Foxx stated, quote, "I'm looking forward to running in a part of the state that I care so deeply about and has sent me to Congress in the past to represent our shared values," end quote. This new district is a result of state legislatures creating more competitive district lines. These updated maps have been approved for state election usage, but the state map created by the GOP for the U.S. House of Representatives did not pass. The map was redrawn by a nonpartisan panel and will be implemented this coming voting season.
Looking for a job? The Town of Boone Public Works Department is hiring. The Public Works Department plays a vital role in everyday life here in our mountain town by overseeing the maintenance and operation of the town's infrastructure. This includes everything from filling potholes to removing snow. The department is currently looking for firefighters, police officers, maintenance workers, and equipment operation trainees. You can find full job descriptions, requirements, and application information at townofboone.net.
If you notice the Greenway has been looking a bit dry lately, it's been discovered that multiple invasive species were taking over the wetlands. Some of these species are reed canary grass and multiflora roses. These species are being removed by the town of Boone to maintain the health of these wetlands. If untouched, the town of Boone said the area would change from, quote, wetlands to woodlands, which would destroy the habitats of many of our aquatic and semi-aquatic residents, end quote. Greenway goers can expect the wetlands to be fully back to life by spring.
According to the 2019 census, about 5% of the population in Boone is of Hispanic or Latinx origin. Our correspondent, Zenaira Marin Lopez, has the coverage on a local market catered to the population.
Every Saturday, the Boone Winters Farmers Market happens from 9 to 12 at the Watauga County Agricultural Conference Center. But this Saturday is Dia Latino, a day where different Latinx businesses in the high country come together to sell their goods, offer a tamale cooking demonstration, feature a performance by a local dance group, y más. Dia Latino is put on by the Boone Winter Farmers Market in association with two Latinx organizations in the High Country, Que Pasa Appalachia and the Immigrant Justice Coalition. From 9 a.m. to noon, market shoppers walk through 2 rooms of vendors with activities in between. First, a tamale cooking demonstration with tastings and samples after.
En esta ocasión de pollo, pero pueden usar agua, pero si van a usar agua necesitan media cucharadita más de sal.
And later in the day, a performance by Las Rosas y Claveles dance group. The group consists of middle and high school age Latinx kids who perform traditional dances as a part of their heritage. Ruby Escobar is the older sister of some of the performers. She introduces the group before their performances and speaks about the history of the dances. Dia Latino is an important day for her and her family because of all their involvements. I'm here with Ruby Escobar, whose father owns one of the businesses here at the market and whose siblings performed in the dance group today. Ruby, what does Dia Latino mean for the Latinx community?
I think it means just coming together, all united, especially in these times. We all need to stick together and showing everybody else that's not part of our culture what our culture means.
Not only for people in the community, but also for Latinx students at App State, this is one of the many few occasions where they can connect to their heritage. I'm here with Lucy Cardenas, a student at Appalachian State University. Lucy, why did you choose to come out to Dia Latino today?
Well, I came out here to support my community, and I think it's a great place for Latinos to come together and celebrate their culture.
For the Appalachian Weekly News, I'm Zenara Marine Lopez.
The C.D. Spangler Foundation is donating a $2 million gift to create the Spangler Distinguished Professorship of Early Child Literacy at Appalachian State University. This is the first of its kind in App State's Reich College of Education. The goal of this gift is to help recruit and retain nationally recognized scholars to support the training of future teachers and literacy faculty.
So I was thrilled to learn this week that the Reich College of Education's Department of Reading Education and Special Education was given funds for a distinguished professorship in early child literacy within the College of Education. And this is going to fund a position in early child literacy that's going to be ongoing. And it's super exciting to think about this. The money is coming from the C.D. Spangler Foundation. Now, when I first came to North Carolina in the mid-'80s, C.D. Spangler was the head of the, he was the chair of the North Carolina Board of Education. And then after that, he served as the president of the University of North Carolina system in the late 80s through the 90s. And so his name is synonymous with education in North Carolina. And the fact that he's funding, or his foundation now is funding this professorship in reading makes so much sense, because reading is at the core of a democratic and humane society. We need people who can read and think about what they're reading.
App State, originally being a teacher's college, is very excited to be one of the 4 colleges a part of this program. A national search is underway to fill the professorship position.
If you don't have any plans this Saturday night, you could grab a friend and a ticket to the first annual Boondocks Film Festival at the Appalachian Theater of the High Country. The festival runs from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and includes 11 screenings of mini-documentaries that showcase the Appalachian region, holds conversations with filmmakers and participants, and the finale invites audience members to vote on which film they think should win the Audience Choice Award.
We, with this film festival, we want to share authentic stories about a region that many people do not fully understand because of the stereotypes about the region. Many people view Appalachia, myself included before I moved here, as a place of despair and poverty and drug use. And that is part of our story here, but that's not the only story. And so what this film festival does is it really provides a platform for the stories of the people who live and work here.
Tickets are $10, and proof of vaccination or a negative test result is required. In addition, masks also must be worn by all guests at all times. For more information, you can visit www.apptheater.org/news-events.
Reggie Hunt is now the new executive director of the Boone Area Sports Commission. Hunt begins his new role on March 1st after working for App State Athletics for 16 years. Hunt is very involved in the local community, being a pastor and an App State grad. David Jackson, the chair of the Sports Commission, said, quote, "He comes to the position as a well-respected figure in our community with strong relationships and an eagerness to work with local partners to support existing events and create new opportunities for the High Country to lead as a sports tourism destination," end quote.
This summer, Grandfather Mountain is set to host their 4th annual free environmental educator workshops. These workshops offer a variety of courses specifically designed for Western North Carolina educators to achieve an NCEE certification, and a good excuse to get out of the classroom. The workshops are set to begin in June, and attendees should expect a fair bit of walking, so appropriate footwear is advised. Registered participants are also asked to bring their own lunch and be prepared for any inclement weather. Each course has a limit of 25 participants, and registration is required. To learn more or register, you can visit www.grandfather.com/educator-workshops.
NASCAR royalty is coming to town, but maybe not for what you would think. Kyle Petty will be performing at the Jones House in their indoor concert series from 4 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. Petty was supposed to come to the High Country in 2020 and be the Grand Marshal for the St. Patrick's Day Parade, but it was canceled due to COVID. Petty began his music career after retiring from stock car racing and said it was always an interest to him. Tickets are $20 and you must make reservations in advance at joneshouse.org.
Coming up on the Appalachian Weekly News, our basketball teams prepare to wrap up the regular season. The Appalachian Weekly News.
Dalen, I know winter sports are starting to wrap up and men's basketball has one of their last games tonight. What else is going on in athletics?
Yes, Stephen. Men's basketball traveled to Arkansas this past week to face Little Rock and Arkansas State. They first went to Little Rock, where they came out with a 78-66 win behind Michael Alamonsi's stellar performance. Alamonsi scores 26 points to go with 4 rebounds and assists. The senior was accompanied by Adrian Delph, who finished with 18 points and 8 boards. They travel to Arkansas State today, where they will play their final regular season game. After that, the team prepares for the Sun Belt Tournament starting March 3rd. Now over to the women's side of things, where App State fell just short of victory, 89-56. Faith Austin scored 16 points and had 4 rebounds to lead the team, while Alexa Alesh finished with 5 points and 8 rebounds. Brooke Biggett was the only other Mountaineer to reach double figures, finishing with 10 points. App State hosts the regular season finale this Saturday against South Alabama before the Sun Belt Tournament starting March 2nd. And now sprinting the women's track, where our Mountaineers competed in the Indoor Sun Belt Championship earlier this week. During day 1, the distance medley finished with bronze after posting a time of 11 minutes and 59 seconds. Graduate student Peyton Simmons also placed and captured a silver medal in the long jump while setting a new personal record. The Mountaineers finished day 1 in 5th place. On day 2, Simmons would go on to win her 2nd straight indoor triple jump Sun Belt Championship. Junior Jada Branch finished with bronze in the same event. App State finished 6th as a team and look to keep things running as they start the outdoor season at UNC Charlotte on March 18th. Our women's soccer team will be on the pitch this Sunday in Columbia, South Carolina, where they will face the Gamecocks for their 2nd of 4 spring games. They were originally supposed to play the Citadel, but that game was canceled yesterday. They are 1-0 so far after beating UNC Greensboro this past week 2-0. The Mountaineers will play their final 2 games against Big South teams Radford and High Point. App State's softball team went 3-1 last weekend at the Presbyterian tournament. They defeated North Carolina Central and Detroit Mercy twice before falling to Presbyterian. This puts them at 5-2 to start the season as they get ready to travel to Charleston to play in the College of Charleston tournament that started this morning against Western Carolina. They will also play UConn and the College of Charleston twice this weekend. Our baseball team fell to the number 23rd ranked Duke in Durham Tuesday afternoon 8-5. This matchup was one with a lot of history as current Duke head coach Chris Pollard coached the Mountaineers the last time these two teams faced back in 2012. In the first inning, Dylan Rogers hit a home run to put the Mountaineers on board first, followed by an Alex Aguila RBI single to bring App to a 2-0 lead at the end of the 2nd inning. This was the beginning of an explosive start for App, who would go 4-1 through 4 innings. However, Duke would outrun App 7-1 to finish the game. That included a 3-run homer in the 5th. The Mountaineers now look towards their 3-game road series with UNC Greensboro this weekend. That's all that's been going on with sports. We have more this weekend. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Dalen.
And now for your High Country High Note.
If you're looking for an easy way to practice sustainability this spring, you may be interested in the local cooperative bad composting.
Our correspondent, Ivy Fischel, has more.
With spring about a month away, it's beginning to warm up here in the high country. So you may be trying to think of a few ways to bring your dead garden back to life. One way a local cooperative is aiming to get people gardening and creating good soil for the community is through composting.
My name is Ballard Reynolds. I am the general manager of Born Again Dirt Bad Composting. We are a local composting cooperative or consumer cooperative, so the people who buy in also kind of own and decide what happens in it. But we are a residential compost collection service.
The cooperative's process is simple and works as a monthly subscription-based service.
So we give people buckets, they fill them with food scraps, we come to various spots like this, and we compost the food scraps.
However, Ballard says their team ensures that the composting services remain available to everyone.
We don't want being sustainable to be something only the rich are allowed to do.
You can reuse any household container to collect vegetable or fruit scraps, eggshells, coffee grounds, paper, and any other items listed on the Bad Composting website.
What I do is I get, like these guys, clean them out. We just get them from restaurants. Pickle buckets, sealed buckets, sometimes mayo buckets, and we just ask for restaurants to donate them to us because they're just going to throw them away. So we just pick them up. We are really trying to not have to consume anything, trying to make sure that everything we do is getting trash out of the landfill.
Ballard and the entire Born Again Dirt team have a passion for gardening and taking care of the environment.
I have 2 hardy kiwi, another blackberry, and then I've got rhubarb, lamb's ear.
Alive all winter, and in the summer I'll be able to harvest it.
The co-op plans to expand its services, which will continue to increase the sustainability of our community.
We are working with Patterson Educational Farm and Fig Farm because we are upping to restaurant collection. We're about to start doing like larger scale compost.
Now, all that's left to do is try out composting for yourself. For the Appalachian Weekly News, I'm Ivy Fischel.
That's our report for this week. I'm Stephen Biddix.
And I'm Sydney Gladwell.
For all of us here at the Appalachian Weekly News, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.